Hello. Hi. Hi. How's it going? It's been a while. Two, this is not usually the time that I stream. Typically, I'm not available at this time of day. It's a bit too late at the night. It's almost dinner time. But today there was a bit of a kerfuffle, and I had my house invaded by people. So initially I was gonna stream at my usual time, which is about 5 p.m. where I live, but stuff happened and I couldn't, and so I had to push it back a bit. This is why I don't do schedules. I never know what's gonna happen, but I didn't want the day to go by without me having at least some sort of stream. I can't promise how long this stream will go on. My idea is probably like an hour or so, because in about an hour or so I'm gonna get really hungry, and at that point I'm gonna want to have fucking dinner. So maybe, who knows, maybe I'll go to BRB and I'll fucking, I don't know, make myself a couple sandwiches. I have stuff to make sandwiches there. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Also, on the thing about being a while, well, shit happened. I caught the dengue fever. If you don't know what that is the thing that gets the thing that fucks you up completely because a mosquito bites you. Well, that I got that. It was not fun at all. So that took me out of commission for a week. And it sucks because for that week I actually had streams lined up and I was like, fuck, I can't move. So yeah, that took me out of commission for like a week. So I couldn't do anything. I could barely get out of my bed on anyone. It was not 4 days. It was 7 days. It's about 7 days, I want to say. It did hit me hard for like 4 days, yes. But the whole thing, like the whole process, took about a week. So yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I'm excited about that. That comes out on Friday. Fun fact, I'm gonna stream on Friday. Hey, I'm gonna see if I could stream that game. Atlas doesn't have any restrictions. I checked. For some reason, they decided, hey, let's just let the people stream the game, which is not something that they usually do. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna stream the at the very least my first few hours of the game, and then after that, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't want to commit myself to playing the whole thing on stream because it's Persona. That's a long ass game. It's gonna take me at least 100 hours to fucking beat. And imagine in my fucking schedule if I had to commit to 100 hours of streaming. I can't do that. I couldn't. That's just not my in my system. Is the music still going? I don't have my headphones on, so. Oh yeah, no, it is. Let's go. Okay. So what's the plan for today? Well, the plan for today is a long time ago. One of the first few streams I did as a PNG tuber. I went over my anime list, my Annie list page, and we were laughing and cringing and talking about the stuff that I put on my list. Basically, we're judging my own anime taste, and so, of course, in that stream I couldn't really finish my whole list because I've seen, let me see, 434 shows in total, counting like movies and shorts and stuff. So yeah, because of that, this is part 2 of that stream, and because of how first off, how much time I have and how much shit I've seen and how I tend to just like go on and on and on and on about the stuff that I've been watching and that I've watched. This is gonna be part 2 of fucking God knows how many parts. I'm probably gonna do another one of these streams at some point, because we started from the bottom. Now we're here. Start from the bottom, so that means, yeah, I'm looking at the list right now. I haven't switched to scenes, but I'm looking at the list, and I covered almost all of the shows that I've given a 3. Just that. Just that. And that's less than 50 shows. Probably. I'm not even counting that, but yeah. I got hella distracted that stream. I started talking about stuff and then I just kept going and I kept going and I kept yapping. So yeah, this is gonna be a similar stream to that. So how about we switch to the... Look at that. I actually upgraded it. Now, I actually didn't... I zoomed in on the site instead of you know, zooming in on OBS. Yeah, I upgraded. I figured that I could use like full screen and not having to worry about stuff like this. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I went back to the VOD of the previous stream. I believe the last show I talked about was Sword Art Online. We went through this about Mother's Rosario and shit. And then that's about it. I think specifically the last show I hovered over in this list was specifically this one. And that took me on a tangent about Sword Art Online because I've seen most, if not, most of Sword Art Online. I haven't seen some of the movies. The progressive movies, I haven't seen them yet. So I presume this is the moment we left it on last time. But I also don't remember talking about Divine Gate, for example. But if it's here, but if I talked about Sword Art Online, that must have meant that I talked about Divine Gate. I didn't rewatch the whole VOD. I'm not that crazy. But what did I say about Divine Gate? Really bad. Bad animation, bad story and storytelling. It's sort of visually appealing, but it fails to deliver on everything else. Kick-ass OP, though. That is true. No, I may have talked about it. I do remember talking about Promised Neverland and how it was a mess. And how it was a disappointment and stuff. And then they skipped parts of the manga and shit. I also remember talking about this shit. And about the Asterisk War. I'm sorry, I'm drinking water. So yeah, where else? What else do we have here? Okay, let me preview what's going on. I know I did go and talk about Alicization as well, so we're gonna skip this and the movie. Oh, hey, the movie. What did I say? I said Sao, SAO being SAO. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Lackluster protagonists and villains, plot holes and Deus Ex Machinas. Yeah, no, that sounds like SAO. The other thing I remember about this movie is that Asuna's titties are out at some point. But not in like the theatrical release. I believe that was in like the Blu-ray. So I think they straight up used Asuna's titties as a way to sell the the Blu-ray of that goddamn the goddamn movie. What else do we have here? Berserk 2. Why 2? Why 2? Why is it called 2? Is this the second season of the 2017 anime? 2017 or 16. Where's the other part of Berserk? Because I know I also hate the... here it is. Apparently, I rated the first half of the 2016 anime, or rather the 2016 anime, I rated higher than the 2017 anime. Which, thinking back on it, I think I agree. No, that's not... That's... Berserk and good animation really don't match. The CG is awful most of the time. It's awful all the time. Not most of the time. It's awful all the time. Well, it becomes more bearable near the end. Does it? I don't think it does. This anime's saving grace is the amazing story it presents. And even then, Berserk 2016 is an affront to humanity. It ruins Berserk. It really does. I really encourage anybody that's that wants to experience Berserk to just sit down and read the manga. And maybe if they really, really want to watch an anime, watch the 98 anime. The original, the one that... And even then, it's not ideal. That's why I urge people to read the manga. And anybody that's into Berserk will tell you, just read the manga. Like, there is no perfect adaptation. The closest to a perfect adaptation we got was the 98 anime. And even then, the 98 anime skips a lot of things. I mean, for one, it's just the Golden Age. And it's like the most adapted part of Berserk, so... Yeah, I mean, it's a great introduction to Berserk. If you really don't want to read the manga, or if you don't want to like jump into the manga directly for some weird reason, I suppose you can watch the anime. But yeah, everybody that's into Berserk will tell you, just read the manga. It's too good. It's too good. And as for what this 2016 anime did that's so bad, well, first off, it looks like ass. I mean, that's not even a fucking... That's not even... That's just... It's an understatement to say that it looks bad. It might quite possibly be the worst looking anime I've ever seen. And I've seen X-Arm. I hesitate to say that some parts of this anime look better than X-Arm even. That's how bad it looks. I'm just looking at this key at this key visual, and I'm just getting fucking Vietnam flashbacks. Oh my god, it's so bad. But yeah, what did I say about Berserk 2016? I said that the anime saving grace is the story, and no, I mean, the story of Berserk is good, of course it is, but that's another thing that this anime kind of ruins. I think it's more prevalent in the second part. The story is still terribly paced and rushed. See, that's the thing. You can't really do Berserk in a small amount of episodes, and that's what these the two seasons, the two modern seasons, I suppose, did. They tried to like cram giant arcs in very little leverage, very few episodes, and so on top of it looking bad, the story is just completely butchered. So that's why the Berserk modern adaptations suck dick. I believe I'm being a bit too generous when I give this show a 3. Maybe it's my love for Berserk and the fact that the story, even when presented in such a terrible way, it's still good. Actually, no, you know what? That is exactly what it is. Because even if you watch this goddamn awful adaptation, the good parts of the story kind of like carry it. Even if it's like a terrible retelling of the story, it works. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't, but it's good enough that you can watch it. So it's not unwatchable. We also got Magical Girl Side, which... Prediction. I think I said this is the most edgy show I've ever seen. Or the edgiest show I've ever seen. I know me. It's edge but cranked up to 11, since every single unfortunate situation is taken to the extreme for no other purpose than for shock value, and there's no merit in that. Also, cardboard characters and plot that just isn't interesting. Magical Girl Side is one of those shows that came after Madoka Magica, and it's one of those shows that thought that they could do gritty magical girls just like Madoka, but forgot the fact that Madoka Magica, on top of being dark and stuff, it's got a good story. It's got good characters. It looks good. Like, Madoka Magica is good on top of the fact that it is like a darker take on magical girls. And Magical Girl Side just saw the dark things and was like, oh, we can make that. And made quite possibly the edgiest shit I've ever seen. I've ever had the displeasure of seeing. It wasn't even fun. I was like groaning when I was watching the show, and I watched it as it aired. I think that the bullying that they do the main girl has to go through is so ridiculous and so fucked up. It's so exaggeratedly fucked up that I can't really take it seriously. That's how bad it is. It's not one of those shows that you laugh at how edgy it is. It's not that. It's just edgy for the sake of being edgy, and you know, because shock value. It really is shock value. It also looks like shit. It really does. I think all these girls had like powers thanks to their phones and stuff like that. But I don't know. It really is so forgettable. It really was. Like the thing that I remember the most is how edgy it was, and that's not how you should fucking market your show. Unless you're really into that shit, I suppose. I guess there's people that are really like the edgy shit. Not me though. I mean, I like a bit of edge here and there, but Jesus Christ. Not that much. Apparently I put the... I don't want to hover over that image too much because that... Same as this one. I feel like I'm gonna get bonked by YouTube or Twitch or something like that. What I say about the OVA of High School of the Dead, because I actually like High School of the Dead. Fan service and nothing else. Okay. This is the part of the list where I don't really have a lot to say about things, and so I just say stuff like that. The High School of the Dead OVA was very stupid. It was mostly just titties. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like titties, but it wasn't as fun as the show itself. I think it was like it was a beach episode. I think it was like some sort of beach episode where they get drugged and shit as well. And I think this girl, the pink-haired girl, gets like super horny and stuff. That's what I remember. That's about it. That's what happens in that OVA. Just watch the show. This is unnecessary. Unless you're really horny, I suppose, and you really don't want to watch fucking actual hentai. And speaking of actual hentai, not really, but Elfen Lied. What did I say about Elfen Lied? Elfen Lied has a decently interesting premise, but ultimately fails at almost everything else. Narrative is almost always driven by dumb melodrama between cardboard cutouts passed off as characters with barely any personality. Not to mention the excessive amount of blood and gore used seemingly just to grab attention. That is true. Some positives would be the soundtrack and the surprisingly detailed background art. Does it? I don't even remember that. I feel like sometimes I grasp at straws when I want to find things to praise. How the show is very mediocre in its production. Elfen Lied is another one of those shows, sort of like Magical Girl Side, that it's just edgy for the sake of being edgy. But the thing about Elfen Lied is that most of the edge is concentrated in the first episode. To like, you know, shock you in the beginning, at the very beginning, to like hook you in, quote unquote. And it's true, ask anybody that ever saw Elfen Lied and they'll mostly recall the first episode, because the shocking part is in the first episode, and then it doesn't reach those highs again. And the premise sure is interesting, because you got like a super powerful girl that can kill everything by just looking at it. And so it's interesting to see her like adapt to freaking, what is it called? To human society and stuff. But it just doesn't do shit with it. It's very boring. Like once the initial shock factor is gone from Elfen Lied, it just becomes boring as hell. I can't remember what happens for the life of me. So yeah, it's not even good at being edgy. Maybe the manga is different. I don't know. I know the manga is way longer than the anime, but I mean, the anime didn't really inspire very much confidence in the rest of the story. I think the anime goes anime original too. I'm pretty sure, because they used to do that a lot. And even then, it's very forgettable. Like the most, again, the most interesting aspect of Elfen Lied is how shocking it is at the beginning, and that's about it. Because they throw two things at you. They throw a naked lady and a lot of blood, which Elfen Lied came out at a time when a lot of young people were getting into anime, and those young people were teenagers that were horny, and they thought they were very cool. So when they saw a lot of blood, they were like, oh shit, this is not like your typical anime. This isn't like Dragon Ball. This isn't like your baby's first anime. This is real shit. This is dark. This is hard. This goes hard. And so people, you know, think fondly of Elfen Lied because they remember that. They remember how they felt, but not really what the show was about. And the show wasn't interesting. The most interesting aspect of it was the reaction to it, I suppose. Because again, Elfen Lied is a show that was very unprecedented at the time, I think. Because anime had moved on from like the ultra violence of the 80s at that point. But Elfen Lied was like, fuck it, no, bring it back. But again, it didn't really do anything interesting, so it stood the test of time, I suppose, because of how memorable that first episode was. And that's about it. And we got Wonder Egg Priority. My priority. Okay, Wonder Egg Priority. Wonder Egg Priority deserves deserves a deep dive. We don't have enough time to talk about Wonder Egg Priority, really. Because, okay, so here's the thing. This is a 4, but Wonder Egg Priority, my priority, is an OVA or something. It's a special. It's a TV special or something like that. This is just special. Where's the rest of Wonder Egg? I gave the rest of Wonder Egg Priority a fucking 9. Wonder Egg Priority is really good. It's bizarre, but goddamn it, it looks so fucking good. It's one of the best looking TV anime I've ever seen. Look at that. Look at all I fucking wrote. I added an edit. I added an edit. It seems as if Wonder Egg Priority 1 really wanted to be at least 24 episodes long, but it was a Cloverworks show, and this was about the point in Cloverworks history when they started to like have a meltdown in its production team. And so the very ambitious Wonder Egg Priority just crumbled under its own weight. And it just couldn't be finished. It like literally couldn't. 12 episodes went by and it looked really good, and then it ended on like a big cliffhanger. So you're like, okay, well, second season when? But they never really planned it as a 2-season show. It seemed it's what I mean. It's like it crumbled under the weight of its own ambition. What'd I say? It's like watching a movie every week with how beautifully animated and directed each episode was. It really is. It was surprisingly consistent with how good it looked. I think there were a couple episodes that were delayed, if I'm not mistaken. It's about young girls fighting all sorts of inner demons. Yeah, in the minds of other young girls. Yeah, it's like super fucking real. Gender identity, rape. Oh god, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that it goes... The last episode was not aired properly, leaving the story quite unfinished. Yeah, because, okay, they really thought that they could do something in 13 episodes. They really did. I still have no idea why. Where's the other one? What did I say about the ending? How the fuck do you grab 12 episodes of great content only to backpedal on almost everything that made the show so great and just end it there without any explanation or anything whatsoever? This show needed to be a 2-core series with an actual and proper and not messed up production. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Cloverworks. And they did not learn their lesson, because after Wonder Egg Priority came Promised Neverland and the fiasco that was Season 2. And I did mention that, because Wonder Egg, last time. Promised Neverland Season 2 is here. Yeah. That people didn't want to be credited on it either. So yeah, Wonder Egg Priority is Cloverworks' second fiasco. Or first fiasco, I think, because it came out before Promised Neverland. Oh my god, I just now realized that the text here says now playing Genshin Impact. We're not playing Genshin Impact, guys. No. We're oh god, cringing at my anime list. That's what we're doing. Jesus Christ, that's been there for 30 minutes. Oh boy. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Okay. So yeah, disappointment behind Wonder Egg Priority aside. Sword Art Online 2, I talked about Sword Art Online already. This season has the one that has Mother's Rosario, and that's like the one thing that I like about Sword Art Online. Then we have Sorega Seiyu Petit Uchiage, which is a show I really like, but this is a special that apparently had fan service and really no reason for existing. This is sort of this is the sort of thing that comes out on like OVA and like OVAs on like Blu-ray discs as extras. I mean, it doesn't bother me that it exists, but Sorega Seiyu is a really good show. I think I give it like a 7, let's say. Where are ya? Where are you? I'm spoiling the rest of my list right now, but I don't want to do control. Okay, fine. I'll do control. Seiyu's Life. Or Sorega Seiyu. I give it an 8. Holy shit. Seiyu's Life is, as the name implies, a show about a voice actor. About voice actors. Yeah. It's really sweet. It really is about the industry working as a voice actor in the voice acting industry. That's really all it is. What I say? Insiders look as to what the life of an up-and-coming seiyuu is like. Characters are cute and you can really see them grow as professionals along the way. Shame that it ends before any of that actually gets realized. Yeah. Oh yeah, and seiyuu cameos. Every episode of this show had a special guest. Let's see if we can find the people that were guests on the show here. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so Ryoko Shiraishi, for example. Noriko Hidaka, I don't know who this is. Ryoko Gimiya plays herself. Yuji Machi, Yui Horie, Banjo Ginga. I don't know what these people are. I don't know what some of these people are. Yukari Tamura? I know Yukari Tamura. That's fucking Teddy. Hell yeah. Hiroshi Kamiya plays himself. These people play themselves. Mai Tomiki, I suppose. I don't know. Masako Nozawa. This is the voice of fucking Goku. This is like the first episode's guest. And they all like they all have like a thing. They all impart like a lesson on the main girl. Because the main girl is this Futaba Ichinose, who is played by Rie Takahashi, by the way. Which is cool because this is Rie Takahashi before Megumin. This is Rie Takahashi before Milia, before Megumin. This is like not really the show that put her on the map or anything like that. But she was an unknown person in the industry. She hadn't had her big break yet. So I bet your ass playing Futaba Ichinose was like very personal for her. Very true to life. She had like a few roles at that point. She really did. And so this show was as much about the up and coming life as a seiyuu of Futaba Ichinose as much as it was an actual experience for Rie Takahashi. I bet your ass that's how it was for a lot of her, of her career. What else do we have? The Ichigo Moisaki, and I believe this was the most popular one of the show. Have the other one? Okay. See, this girl, Marika Kono, had some roles. She ended up being some girl in Uma Musume and the main girl in Onimai, which was a huge show. Okay, so Uma Musume, this girl seems to be an important character in Uma Musume. She's been in a lot of the Uma Musume adaptations. Oh, look at that! She's Petra in ReZero. So yeah, this girl had a nice career after Sorega Seiyu, and it's another one of those situations where she was a relatively unknown player in the industry. Oh, and then Akiba Strip. We'll probably get to Akiba Strip at some point. Akiba Strip is insane, and it's a show that I really like, and I had no idea that I would like. But it's like a spiritual successor to Sorega Seiyu because it's a lot of the same staff, and the main trio of girls has the same voice actresses. Because I think it's also the same team behind like the anime and stuff. So yeah, Seiyu's Life is really good. Like everybody talks about frigging what's his face? Bacano. Fuck, what was the name of the show of that manga? Bakuman. Everybody talks about Bakuman, and what is the other one? Bakuman is the one about the manga industry. It's written by the duo that did Death Note, right? I haven't seen it or read it, but I've heard really good things about it, and everybody loves that show. And that's about like the intricacies of like of being an up and coming mangaka, right? So And then the other one, there's that anime that's Shirobako. Shirobako is the like analog but for anime, because that's about an anime production, right? And so those are like the two shows that people think about anime, about the industry. But Sorega Seiyu deserves to be on that like podium just as much, because it's really good. It's like production wise, it's not gonna blow anything out of the water. No, it looks very generic. It doesn't look particularly good. It's just serviceable, but it's mostly a slice of life show, really. But the insight that it brings to the voice acting industry is really nice. So like if you watch Shirobako and then Sorega Seiyu, you got a pretty good idea of how anime is made. And then if you watch Bakuman, you have a pretty good idea of how like a manga gets turned into anime and how manga is made. So that's, to me, that's like the trinity of anime about the industry. And there's another one, which is what's it called? It's that Science Star show. Eizoken. Eizoken is like indie anime, really. But it's another one that shows you that one's more about animating it in and of itself, like the art of animation, of how to make an anime, like drawing and stuff. Shirobako goes more into like the full production of an anime, and Eizoken is more about the actual production of the animation in and of itself, because it's like the group of main characters are really invested into making actual anime. So a lot of it is just them discussing how to animate. So the trinity is Sorega Seiyu, Bakuman, Shirobako, and then as an extra, if you're really into it, it's Eizoken. Of those shows, I've only seen two: Sorega Seiyu and Eizoken. But Bakuman might be here. No, it might be on my manga plan to read or something. I also have a manga list. We're not going over my manga list, but no, it's not. This is all of the manga that I ever plan to read. There you go. And that's all I dropped. And the stuff that I paused. Okay, but we're here talking about anime, not that. But yeah, so like I say, is really nice. I'm gonna go get more water. Give me a sec. I'm not even gonna go to the BRB. I'm back. Where were we? Sorega Seiyu. So that's all the way down here. Oh yeah, and apparently I gave this special a 4 because it really wasn't anything interesting. I think it was like about girls going to a hot springs or something like that. It wasn't about the industry or anything like that. It was just a cute slice of life thing, I suppose. And again, it's specials that they add in like Blu-rays and stuff. Just extras. It really is. I may be too mean on this stuff, really, but alright. Then we have Recorded in Rancel. This ridiculous concept has some laughs here and there. I said the same thing about this too. A friend of mine put it on one time. We got together at night. We got together in like in a friend's house. And we watched the whole thing because I think it's on YouTube, most likely. Because it's one of those short anime that that there's like 4 episodes, 4-minute episodes. It's that. The premise of the show, I think there's another season that we didn't manage to watch. The premise of the show is that, hold on, this girl is the older sister and this is the younger brother. This is a kid. That's what the show is about. That's it. It's a bit of it's that kind of premise. It's that very much anime premise, you know. Mia is an 11-year-old boy who is 180 centimeters tall, and his sister is 17-year-old and she's 137, and that's it. That's the whole show. It's kind of funny. Aya Hirano is the voice of this Sayo character. Huh. Oh, hey, look at that. And fucking Rieko Kimiya is the voice of the main girl. You know, can I order it by like popular? There we go. Happy Kiana. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, it's got some popular seiyus, I suppose. But yeah, it's there's really not much more to say about this show other than it's got a silly premise and it's kind of cute, and that's about it. It's not weird. It's not like edgy or anything like that. I mean, the comedy is in the fact that the guy is tall, but he's really a kid, and the girl is tiny, but she's really almost an adult. That is the comedy. And there's not really much you could do with that concept, so I suppose the show explores as much as it can about it. And then here's something that some people are probably going to be upset about, because people love the Persona 4 anime. I'm not the biggest fan of it. To be fair, this is golden. This is the golden anime. This is Persona 4 being as popular as it was. It had an anime adaptation. And then it also had a re-release, which was Persona 4 Golden, like the game. And that adds a bunch of new things and a new character and a whole new story, and that's great. Go watch my Persona video. I talk about Atlas re-releases and shit. And so Persona 4 Golden is interesting because they made an anime out of it, which is weird because there's already a Persona 4 anime, which, mind you, I don't think it's terrible. I gave it a 5. Oh god. I really don't think it's terrible. It's a meh adaptation of a fantastic game. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't like how they crammed everything they could out of a 70+ hour game. It's more of a 100-hour game, really. It took me 70+ hours to beat it the first time I played it, but it's really longer than that. They did what they could. It's sort of fine if you're a fan of the game and don't mind the extreme cuts that they made to it all, but it can be very off-putting if you're new. Just play the game. That is true. I don't think anybody ever watches like the Persona anime and think, oh, this is a replacement for the show, for the game. No, I don't think so. Because as I say here, you can't really do an adaptation of a game that it's over 100 hours long in 25 episodes. You really can't. This anime does its absolute darndest, and there's some things that I really like about it, and everybody's gonna agree that the characterization of you, the protagonist, is goddamn brilliant. It's fucking perfect. So in that regard, the show is good. It's a good retelling of the story of the game. I know I said meh adaptation, but if we're taking the whole thing at face value, then yes, it's not that great. But like, if you just watch the main story parts, it's fine. It's serviceable. It doesn't adapt the whole thing. There's a true ending that barely gets adapted, but we'll get to that because that's the thing that I gave a 4. But also, a thing about my scores. 5 is average. 5 is not a bad score by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the middle of the road. It's a meh. It's the very definition of meh. So yeah. I don't want a 5 to be taken as this show sucks, because that's not true. A lot of people like see a 5 and they're like, oh my god, he hated that. And it's like, no, that's not true. If we're being more facetious, I would say it's a strong 5, which means that it's closer to a 6 than a 5. I hate doing that, but because it's like too granular at that point, and I'd just rather have a fucking round 5. But it's like a 5.75 or something like that. It's closer to a 6, and a 6 is a good grade. A 6 is a good fucking grade. And so is 5. In college, around over here in my neck of the woods, you pass tests with a fucking 4, and that's like the best thing you could ever get. 4 out of 10, yeah. So when I give Persona 4 the animation of 5, that means it's alright. It's eh. That's about it. Hold on. Here. I explained myself in my own profile. My scores represent how much I enjoy the series. Think of a 6 as being a barely passing grade. Anything below it isn't particularly good. Okay, you're not making a good argument, Lance. I did find, however, that a 5 to me is the perfect point where the pros equal the cons, making the show a balance between good and bad aspects. Not good, but not bad either. There you go. So that's it. 5 is the perfect middle point. A 5 is the perfect middle point. I don't hate... Where the fuck is Persona 4? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. There it is. Well, not really. That's golden. But yeah, I think the Persona 4 anime is fine. If you played the game and you really liked it, and you really liked the game and you for some reason want more, the anime is really good at filling that itch. Fulfilling that little itch of more Persona. I just want more Persona 4 because I love the characters. And that's like the one thing that everybody who plays Persona 4 is going to tell you. Like, the characters are great. The characters are super fun. And you just want to spend more time with them. And the anime gives you that. And it's interesting because it is not a game, which means that they have to actually do something with the main character who is mostly a self-insert. So they actually make him a character. And he's a very likable character. He's very funny in the show. He's really fucking funny. He's like one of the most funny. He's like one of the funniest parts of the whole show. I'd wager this entire show is worth watching just because of how fun Yuna Arkami is as a protagonist. The Persona protagonists are usually self-inserts because people play the games. But people end up getting attached to these characters for two reasons. One, you can sort of have a glimpse of like their personality, if you will, thanks to the choices that the dialogue choices that the game gives you. But also, adaptations like this comes out, like the Persona 4 anime and the manga, that actually creates a character of the self-insert. And so people like canonize what the characters are like based on what the anime and shit, what the adaptations do. You'll also see a lot of people bring up the Persona 4 manga. I haven't read it, but I think I've seen people like it and like straight up call the protagonist Soji Seta because that's how he's called in the manga. Because like manga is usually the first adaptation that comes out, so that's like the very first thing that people have to like grasp on to like create a character for the protagonist, I suppose. But canonically, like in other games and shit, the main protagonist, the Persona 4, is called Yuna Arkami. Like canonically, that's his name. Same thing as how the anime canonizes Joker's name from Persona 5 as Rena Mamiya. And then the manga did something else. The manga called it Akira Kurusu, I think. But the manga came first, so a lot of people associate Joker with Akira Kurusu. But whatever, that's a whole other thing. That's another one. I haven't seen the Persona 5 anime, but I've heard it's not great. I've heard it's not great. It's was it Cloverworks? Was it Cloverworks that did the Persona 5 anime? Hold on. No. Sequel. Persona 4 the animation. Okay, Atlas, original creator. We're gonna find yeah, there we go. Persona 5 the animation. That's another thing. Proof of Justice, Stars and Hours, Dark Sun. It could barely finish Persona 5 the animation. Where the fuck is the actual anime? Okay, give me here. Parent animation, Dark Sun. Persona 5 the animation. Here we go. It's got 26 episodes and barely finishes the anime, the actual game. And also, it looks like ass. It had a very rough production. It was Cloverworks, wasn't it? Yes, it was Cloverworks. So there you go. That's another Cloverworks fiasco. They really did not have a good run. They really didn't. They really didn't. This I didn't actually watch. Mostly because it started coming out by the time I was not done with the game, and I wasn't gonna watch the anime without playing the fucking game. Again, the Persona adaptations are not replacements for the actual games. I'd much rather play the games. And if you're into the idea of like experiencing Persona, but you don't want to like sink 100 hours into a JRPG, I understand. The animes, I suppose, could help you in that regard. But don't expect something great, is what I would say if you're talking about Persona 4 and Persona 5. If you're talking about Persona 3, however, oh my god, the Persona 3 movies are really good. I know we're jumping things because we're talking about Golden. Okay, wait, hold on. Before going to Persona 3, there's this No One Is Alone thing, which apparently is supposed to adapt the true ending, quote unquote. Really, it does a thing. It does a thing where it like does some development for you as well, for Narukami, the protagonist, which is fine, I suppose, for the purposes of the show, but it is a bit messy, which is why I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And maybe it is just me being too much of a purist for the actual game and being a bit of an elitist prick. Maybe I could give it a rewatch and then maybe I'll end up liking it more without the game so fresh in my mind, because it's been a long time since I played Persona 4. But either way, the Persona 4 anime is fine. Don't take my relatively low scores as a thing of me saying I hate it. I'm not the biggest fan of it because I don't think you could replace a 100-hour game with an anime like this. But I think Persona 4 the anime does as good of a job as it could have done with the game. Golden, on the other hand, is a weird thing that exists for no other reason than the fact that Persona 4 was a cash cow. Nowadays, it's not the cash cow anymore because it's been a long time, but Persona 4 was a fucking cash cow. They milked the living shit out of the Persona 4 as a franchise. So many spin-offs came out, so many re-releases. Well, not really, just the one, just Golden. But oh my god. It's because they struck gold with Persona 4, right? Atlas struck gold with Persona 4, so they milked the living shit out of it. One of the things that they did during this milking process is do another adaptation of the anime, as if they hadn't done one before. And the thing about Persona 4, the Golden anime, is that it's best enjoyed if you turn off your brain and watch it as an extra thing. If you really want to. You really shouldn't watch Persona 4 Golden. It's like, if you liked Persona 4, you could watch the Persona 4 anime. But if you like Persona 4 and you really, really like Persona 4, you really don't need to watch Golden, because it doesn't really add much. What did I say? It really had no reason to exist. It really didn't, other than it's Persona 4, and Persona 4 was a cash cow. Shameless attempt to capitalize on the massive success in Persona 4, and it adapts all of the extra content from the PS Vita game and nothing else. This results in the story jumping through the timeline of the game way too much, making it all seem very disjointed. It does manage to be fun and enjoyable sometimes, though. That is the thing. This is a 12-episode anime. It's a 12-episode anime that jumps around the timeline of the game, because the game takes place in a whole year, right? So it's not an adaptation in the sense of, if you watch this show, you'll get a retelling of the game. You won't. That is 100% not what's going to happen. What Persona 4 the Golden animation tries to do is that it wraps everything that the Persona 4 Golden game added to the original Persona 5, which is everything regarding Marie and stuff, and like the bikes and the extra trips and stuff like that, and it adapts that. So it literally just jumps around like the different moments of the story. And like the one cohesive thing about the show is Marie. Like the one thing that the show revolves around is Marie, because Marie is the big addition to Golden, right? So yeah, that is what Persona 4 the Golden anime is. It's an adaptation of the extra stuff that they added to Persona 4 the game. It's well, my favorite thing about Persona 4 Golden is, hold on, We're breaking convention right now. Hold on, let me go to this scene real quick. This way I don't like dox myself or something like that. Well, not this way. I want to find the golden anime opening. Here, next chance to move on. It's not great. This opening is not particularly great. But I want to find a scene, specifically a scene in this opening. I think it came near the end. Hold on. Oh, we can switch. We can switch screens right now. This is what I'm looking at. I wanna stop in one particular thing. Here, this. If you played Persona 4, you probably understand what this is. This is Yuna Arakami. This is the protagonist of the game, right? These things in the back, this hexagon thing, that's the social stats. Persona being a social simulator, your protagonist has social stats like fucking courage, knowledge, and shit like that, right? And as you play the game, you raise those stats. And the thing is, however much you ended up with those stats carries over into New Game Plus if you really want to play New Game Plus. So that's the thing. Persona 4 Golden, the animation, feels like New Game Plus for the original anime adaptation, which is weird as shit because it's like, who does that? Who does an anime adaptation of a New Game Plus run? It's the weirdest choice of adaptation I've ever seen in my so many years of watching anime adaptations. And it really, the only reason it exists is because Persona 4 was a cash cow. And so this right here, this thing in the opening, and some things that Narukami says within Golden, because like the characterization of Yu Narukami in Golden, the anime, it's very similar to the original anime adaptation. It's just that now he seems even cooler, he seems even more out there, and I think they straight up make him say stuff that you literally couldn't say in your first playthrough of the game. There's dialogue options early on in the game that require very high courage, for example. So if it's your first time playing, your courage is not going to be that high because you're just starting out. But if it's on New Game Plus, you will be able to say that. Right? That kind of stuff. Usually what happens in New Game Plus is that the protagonist comes off as much cooler than he really was because, he already developed all his social skills. And so that's what happens with the Golden anime. Did I not mention that in my list? In my thing? No, but that's essentially what it is. It's basically they did a New Game Plus and they just decided to make it an anime. That's Golden. It jumps around the story, adapting the Marie bits. And before Golden was out of the PS Vita jail, I would say that this was a good way to experience the extra bits of story if you've played the original game. But now that Golden is just available on Steam and shit, and on consoles and stuff, and other modern consoles, I would just say just go fucking play the actual game, for frigging crying out loud. There's literally no reason to watch this anime other than, again, you really like these games and you really want to watch more of these characters and stuff. But that's what Golden is. It's just a shameless cash grab just because Persona 4 was a cash cow. So yeah. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go take a piss and we're gonna talk about something else. What else do we have? We got a Naruto movie. What is that about it? It isn't very interesting and near the end it gets dumb. I think this is a Naruto movie where Naruto... Well, yeah, no, this is where he goes to jail. Apparently I watched it. I watched a few Naruto movies. For some reason, I suppose. I didn't watch every Naruto movie. God, no. But I remember hearing things about the Blood Prison movie and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch it. It's not great. It's a Naruto. It's a shonen. It's a shonen movie. You really can't do much with shonen movies. All right, give me a second. All right, I'm back. Where are we? Ah, Persona. Oh wait, no. Before we move on from Persona, because we're in that vibe now. When we talked about Persona 4 and how that is an anime that exists, and Persona 5 is also an anime that exists, but I haven't seen it. We have to talk about the Persona 3 movies. Persona 3, relevant. There's the remix coming out in literally a few days, 4 days, as we discussed early on the stream. Persona 3 has a series of movies. Okay, here's 1 and 4. I watched the first Persona 3 movie twice, yes. But for some reason I didn't put... No, not 4, 3. Okay, so I gave 3... I gave the first one a 9, and the fourth one also a 9. And then the second and the third one, I gave 8s. Sure. What I say about them specifically. It says, great retelling of the first section of the game, looks gorgeous and sticks to the original game as much as possible while taking certain liberties that improve the story. And then the fourth movie, I would even... The fourth Persona 3 movie is literally my favorite anime adaptation of Persona. Of any Persona game ever. It managed to do what I thought was impossible. It turns the less eventful and least interesting part of the game into a very compelling narrative by building massively upon its themes. And then 2 and 3, change of studio and director was clear, making this adaptation more safe and close to the game without building upon it as much as the first film. It still looks great and sounds great, but still a damn good adaptation nonetheless. And the third one is a bigger effort to try and build upon the story. It's got some pacing problems, a lot of plot points are done way too quickly. Still good, however. Okay, so in general, the Persona 3 movies are really good. Oh, I did watch the Daybreakers. I'll briefly talk about that after going into my Persona 3 rant. You know how I said that the whatever anime adaptation they make of a Persona game is not really a replacement for the game? Well, that is true, except for Persona 3. Persona 3 is an interesting situation where I would say that if you really, 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 really do not want to get into a long-ass JRPG but are super interested in Persona 3 because people keep saying that it's got a really good story and shit, watch the movies. It's just 4 movies. They're not even like an hour. They're not even 2 hours long. They're not very long. I think the third movie is literally just an hour long. Okay, an hour and 27 minutes. They're not particularly long. How about the second one? How long is the second movie? Whoops. 1 hour and 38 minutes. They're not long movies. They're not 2 hours long. So what's the deal with Persona 3, the movies? Well, the main reason why Persona games are as long as they are is because of the daily life simulator. You play Persona in any Persona game past 3 on the daily. Like, you go daily through your fucking schedule. You go to school, you go to the dungeons and shit like that, and you explore. There's a lot of dead time. You spend time with your friends and shit in Persona games. And that's the reason why the games get too long. It's not just because they're JRPGs and JRPGs are naturally long. No, these are big games with a lot of things to do and a lot of social links to go through, a lot of characters to like spend time with, and a big ass dungeon to explore. That's the reason why the games get so long. And that's like the one thing that an anime adaptation can trim the fat. Because you're not gonna make a lot of interesting shit if you spend a lot of your time in your adaptation just making the characters go through the dungeons. That's not interesting. You just have to know that they go through the dungeon and then they get to the boss. And the boss is the interesting part, the important part, right? I have a bottle on. I'm gesturing with my bottle. A bottle of water, my empty bottle of water. So, what did the Persona 3 movie do? It literally trimmed absolutely everything that wasn't the main story. It cut it off. It just cut it off. And I'm sorry to say, but that's a good thing. Because part of the reason why I'm not the biggest fan of Persona 4, the anime, is because they tried to cram as much of the 100 hours of game into 25 episodes as they can. They tried to adapt like the social links and all the side characters and stuff, and that is what makes the anime a bit of a drag. I'm talking about the original anime adaptation, not Golden. Golden is a whole nother can of worms that we've already discussed. But like comparing it specifically to the Persona 4 anime adaptation, which Persona 3, the movies, came out after the Persona 4 anime, mind you. Because they discovered that Persona 4 is a cash cow, and they were like, maybe we can capitalize on the rest of Persona. And they were right. The Persona 3 movies did really well, I think, as well. So that's good. But yeah, the Persona 3 movies, all they do is just adapt the main plot of the game. They don't try to do adaptations of the social links, of the side stuff. It's just the main story, and that's it. And it understood the assignment because the main story, the main plot of Persona 3 is the one thing that people remember the most fondly about Persona 3. When people think about Persona 3 before this remake comes out, they think about how the original game had a drag of a dungeon, which was long as fuck, very boring, nothing interesting going on in the dungeons, and it's all like very repetitive and shit. Dungeon crawling in Persona 3 sucks dick. Social links are a lot of them are not very memorable. There's a few that stand out, and that's about it. But it's the first time they did that system, and they didn't really iron out the details. They really got it. They got it right by the 5th game, right? Like that's the whole point of the video that I made for Persona 1 and shit, right? And Persona 3. There's a lot of fat that could get trimmed down in a Persona 3 adaptation. And the main story being the one thing that people really like about Persona 3, the movies just doing that makes the most sense. Because it crams all the important stuff that really needs to be there, which is the main story, the development of the main characters, which is, again, the other great thing about Persona 3. The characters and their development and their relationships. No other Persona game managed to do both of those things as well. And the Persona 3 movies are a perfect adaptation of that. Like, if you really want the Persona 3 experience, play the game, of course. Play the remake when it comes out. Don't play the original games. They're rough. But if you really don't want to sit through 100 hours of game, watch the movies and you get the perfect like adaptation of the main story, which is the one thing that people really like about Persona 3. The absolute best, undisputed part. The undisputed best part of Persona 3. Just the main story. You get that. Get the important bits. Without the suffering of exploring Tartarus, which from what I've seen and from what I've heard of through the grapevines and shit, it's not particularly fixed in the remake, so it's gonna be a little bit of a drag there too. But yeah, the one thing you'd be missing, it would be the side content, which is mostly revolving around side characters that aren't particularly important. Like, you won't be seeing Mutatsu, the monk, maybe in like a cameo or something you will see it. You won't be seeing Chihiro, the student council lady, the student council girl. You won't be seeing Yuko. You won't be seeing frigging Nozomi, the fat guy. Like they have like small cameos in like the background and shit, just to like give a quick nod to like the people that actually did play the game. But that's not the point. The important thing is the main story, and that's what's an adaptation. That's what the adaptation of the game is. That's what the movies are. That's what the movies set out to do. And they're great. And because they're movies, they have like extra budget and shit, and they can splurge. They look really good, and that's another thing. And bringing it back to the fourth movie, which I called the best Persona adaptation ever made. Where the fuck is it? The fourth movie. For fuck's sake, it's one of the 9s. So okay, here. Here, fourth, Winter of Rebirth. The first one's also great. The first one's really great. And then the fourth one, they do small changes. Like there's a scene where Makoto, the protagonist, like rolls into into Tartarus with a fucking motorbike, and it's super cool. That's not in the game. But yeah, there are certain liberties that make it really great. That like they improve on the original as well. It makes it work more as a standalone movie, because you know there are 4 movies and you want them to like be good like as a standalone piece. Like I get that you get that it's a longer movie, but it's a longer story. But you can just watch the first movie and it has a great start, beginning, and end. The structure of Persona 3 as a game really like lends itself to this to it being adapted into 4 movies like this, because it's like per season really. Each movie adapts 3 months in game, 3 months of the game. And it works because 3 months in game in Persona 3 really don't have a lot. Presumably they added more stuff in between like the big story moments and Reload. But in the original there really isn't. Like stuff happens at the beginning of a month and at the end of the month. And that's about it. That's how the story is structured in Persona 3. So it really lends itself to like, okay, so movie 1, we're going to adapt the first 3 months. Movie 2, we're going to adapt like the next 3 months and stuff like that. And by the time you get to movie 4, you're close to the last semester of the game. You're in the last trimester, semester, or whatever the fuck of the game. And famously, the last leg of Persona 3, like December, specifically December, is the most boring and uneventful part of the entire game. I don't want to spoil things because there's a reason why it is like this, but it's just very, very boring. In game, you end up doing nothing because at that point of the game, most likely you've already explored most, if not all, of the dungeon. Your social stats are pretty much done because there's just 3 of them. Social links, there's very few of them at that point, maybe. There really isn't anything to do. And because Persona 3 was like the first time they tried out the calendar system, the amount of stuff to do is just in general less. So by the time you get to December, you just have to let the days pass, and that's about it. There's not a lot of stuff that happens in December, and it's very boring. But somehow this movie grabbed that and made it interesting, and it made it revolve mostly around the main character. Because it's another thing, it goes back to the thing where I said where the anime just takes like the crumbs of personality that exists within the game for the main character and actually makes a character out of it. So there is a lot of development going on with Makoto, the main character, and they tie it a lot to like Elizabeth and Elizabeth's relationship with Elizabeth, the Velvet Room assistant, to Makoto. Like they tied their relationship pretty nicely, and like that, I think they fit most of the dates. They like do some sort of like adaptation of most of the dates that you have with Elizabeth in the game. In this movie, and it's great because it builds Elizabeth as a character, and through like her conversations with Makoto, it builds Makoto as a character. It's great. It's fucking great. It builds on the themes of of Persona 3 so fucking well. It's like they really understood what the game was about. And they crammed as much of the message and like the themes of it, as much of it as they could, into this movie. Because they knew that they really couldn't do much with what the game gives you. So they had to like flesh it out more. They really had to. So yeah, that's why this movie is as good as it is. And yeah, even when the remake comes out, which will most likely be the definitive, well, not definitive, but like the best way to play Persona 3 in 2024, I would still say that the movies are worth watching, especially if you don't want to get into a 100-hour game. The Persona 3 movies are just that good. I will die on this hill. And I know that people like the Persona 4 anime and like the things they do with fucking Narukami and shit. But I swear to God, I don't hear enough people talking about the Persona 3 movies. And that's a shame. That is a fucking shame. Because they really are that good. Like, I encourage anybody that's ever played Persona 3 to go and watch the movies. Because they're that good. It'll give you a bigger appreciation of what the game is. Of the game. Like, you're probably going to end up liking the game more. Is what I'm saying. So yeah. That was my Persona 3 rant. It's really good. I really like Persona 3 and I'm excited for the game. Also, I did watch this, which is like a special that they released before the release of the game. This like OVA thingy came out before Persona 5 the game came out. It's a Mementos mission. Like, that's essentially what it does. I think this is like a little short they did as like a promotion to the game, really. Because it happens clearly early on in the story. The last character to join the party is Yusuke, and it's like second dungeon. And it's about Mementos, and then it's fine. It's fun. It looks good too, because it was not made with the... Who made it? It wasn't Cloverworks. It was A1. Oh, close enough. But it was before Cloverworks. So yeah, the Persona 5 Daybreakers thing is really good. I think it's also... Yeah, I think it's available as an extra in Royal. Like, you can watch it through Persona 5 Royal. Like, the game. I'm pretty sure, yeah. It's fun. It's a fun little extra thing. It really is just that. It's not particularly canon or anything like that. Yeah. Okay, my throat's starting to get a little bit dry. And also I'm starting to get hungry. I think I spent most of the stream talking about Persona. That's how much I like Persona. Where have I left it? Nanbaka. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave it here. And I'm gonna do another part of the stream. Another stream of this at some point down the line, where we're gonna keep talking about anime. But it's really... I really need to get something to eat. I was thinking of maybe like taking a little break, go make myself like a couple sandwiches. I did say I had like stuff to make sandwiches with, right? But and then come back and like keep streaming while eating my sandwiches. But I think that's gonna be annoying. It has been an hour and 20 minutes, which is usually what I... Well, not more, but it's like an average of what I like streaming. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna call it a day here. Whoops. What the fuck happened? What the fuck? Okay, my OBS got all fucked up. For some reason I can't Okay, fuck it. It doesn't matter. It's not important. It's just stream looks good. I'm seeing it. It's just my Windows got a little messed up because of what I reordered some freaking Windows and stuff. But yeah, that was fun. That was a fun stream of me just rambling, as it was like the previous stream where I did this. And the next time I do this, it's also gonna be like that, because I like talking about anime. And again, we barely scratched the surface of my own anime list. But before I leave you, I'm gonna tease what I'm gonna do for the rest of this remaining week, because it just so happens that I have the house for myself for a while, and that means I'm gonna put this out there. I'm gonna say this, and I will try to adhere to it. I will try to frigging do it, to actually do it, because I almost didn't do it today, but I powered through in a different time. I want to stream daily this week. Monday through fucking Sunday, I want to do at least one stream every single day. Not for any particular reason, but because I want to like push myself. I usually just do like 1, 2, 3 if I'm very lucky streams a week. And now that I actually am off my fucking dengue, I don't have that shit anymore. I'm feeling really good. Did the stream die? Not really. Alright then, we're good. My OBS apparently disconnected for a bit. Well, whatever, I'm ending stream anyways. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do a stream every day, and I have some things planned for the rest of the week. I just have to, like, you know, not be a pussy and actually make them, actually do them. So tomorrow, I'm going to be live playing Genshin. I'm sorry. Navia's Quest. I want to do Navia's Quest on stream because I haven't done that quest. And on Wednesday, I'm also going to play Genshin because the patch comes out and Cloud Retainer comes out. And I want to pull for Cloud Retainer live. It's been a while since I've done like live polling. It's been a long ass time. And that'll be fun. And I have other things planned for the rest of the week that I haven't finished ironing out the details, but I want to do it also on Friday, which is the day that Persona 3 Reload comes out. I'm going to be streaming that as well. Again, I don't know if I want to play the entire game on stream because it's a 100-hour game, and I'd have to commit to just playing Persona 3 Reload on stream, which is hard for me because I'm really going to be into Persona 3 Reload when it comes out. But for now, at the very least, I want to have my first experience with the game to be live on stream. And so yeah, that's going to happen on Friday. And then the rest of the days, I have things planned, but I don't want to spoil them yet. That's going to be happening. But yeah, the goal for the week, the goal is to stream once every day for this entire week. I'm not going to put up a schedule or anything like that because, again, I don't really have a time to go live or anything like that. It's a lot that I'm already saying that I want to go live for every day. It's a lot even for me. So I debated the idea of actually making a schedule, but I was like, no, that's going to be annoying for me because then I'd have to actually stick with the schedule and yeah. But yeah, I want to do a stream every single day. So yeah, that's it. I also uploaded a short. I have shorts now. I made a few more that'll probably gonna go up in the coming days. I don't want to spam shit anyways. But yeah. That's it. It's been fun. I'm gonna go make myself some sandwiches because I'm hungry. Also get some more water because my throat is starting to hurt a little bit. So yeah. Thank you. I'll be seeing you tomorrow for another stream. I can actually say that. Yay. Bye-bye.